Hi all and welcome to a Baldur's Gate 3 update. Now before I go any further, I just want to say I've been ill. It's one of the reasons why there's not been any videos on my channel. Additionally, I've really not been feeling in the mood to do any videos. I've been concentrating on my main save on Baldur's Gate 3, which is why again there's been no more videos about anything else. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm at the start of Act 3, so if you haven't got to this point in your Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, this will contain spoilers. That is your one and only notice. If you don't want to see any spoilers for whatever reason, then that is absolutely fine. I suggest you come back or speed along on your journey and then there won't be any spoilers. Either way, let's get into it. So this is my current party: myself, Karlach, Shadowheart and Will. They've all got their starting specs other than Shadowheart. I've tried out several different domains of the cleric, and cleric, in my opinion, everything in this video about classes is my own personal opinion based on a ridiculous amount of playtime both in early access and in the full game up to this point. I have gone through Act 1 in early access several times, and I've gone through Act 1 in full access. This is about my 10th playthrough of Act 1, and I've done Act 2 3 times. So hopefully that'll lend some credence to what I'm saying here. Clerics in the early game suck. I'm sorry, that they have limited actions, their spells aren't that great, and if you set up your party right, you do not need their heals. You can get by with whatever you can craft using alchemy. That's what I did. I just used greater healing potions, minor healing potions, and a ton of damage. So until, where did I get to? Until I got to Light's Hope Inn and started running around the cursed areas, is when I felt like I could do with a cleric. But even then I wasn't using Shadowheart for healing. I was using Shadowheart for 2 spells. One, Guardian of Faith, is quite good against bosses, but more importantly, Spirit Guardians. I know I've got a ton of spells here, but that's because I'm forced to take spells. But honestly, Spiritual Weapon, Guardian of Faith, and Spirit Guardians. That is the only 3 spells that I normally use. I do use Aid wherever it is gone. There it is at the start of a long rest, to get those temporary hit points and increase that thing, so that goes off quite well. Sometimes I use Prayer of Healing if I'm out of short rests, but other than that, and I use Daylight a lot in the Shadow Cursed lands, just because it's handy when you're searching areas. You don't have to rely on stuff before you release the pixie and get the pixie buff. So yeah, that's that. So let's go through. I'm not sure how to do this. It's the first time I've done a Baldur's Gate 3 update really, but what I'm going to do is just go through all the gear, go through specs. So I'm on Shadowheart now. Let's go through Shadowheart. So Shadowheart is level 10. She is a cleric. I did her stats with 16 wisdom, and then took the ability buff to get +2 to 18. I think the +1 is in Constitution to get that push up to 16, and then the rest of the stats are the same. That's all the buffs she's currently got. That's how her stats are. That's all her stats there. Gear wise, we've got Flawed Helldusk Helmet. That comes from handing in Infernal Iron to Damon in Light's Hope Inn after you've spoken to him about Karlach. If you've picked up Karlach, if Karlach's in your party, if Karlach isn't in your party, then I would heavily suggest taking Lae'zel and respecking her to be a berserker, barbarian berserker, because barbarian berserkers are insanely godly. I'm in love with the character of Arlak. I think the character is brilliantly written, and the voice actor is amazing, and Karlach is by far my favourite origin character in the game. So let's get that little obsession out of the way. So I've got the Flawed Helldusk helmet for that Constitution saving throws and the bonus to saving throws against spells. I have no idea where I got this cloak from. I think it was from a vendor, but it's quite nice. Gain 7 temporary hit points after casting a spell while in melee, and Shadowheart tends to pick up a lot of flack because I'm generally casting Spirit of Guardians, which the enemies don't like, so they try and take her out of the concentration. So having those temporary hit points helps with that. We've got the Adamantine Splint Armour. I haven't found better. There probably is better, but right now I haven't found any. I've just started in Worms Crossing, so there may be better armours out there, but so far this is really good because you get the reduced damage, you get the high armour class, you can't be crit. I don't stealth at all, though not with her anyway. And if she does get hit by melee, they are sent reeling for 3 turns. It is absolutely amazing, and because you can craft 2 items, in my opinion, the weapons suck from the Adamantine Forge, so I just craft the 2 armours, the medium armour and the splint armour. We're still wearing Hellrider's Pride. I have not come across anything that is better, and you know, I might just throw a heal, especially now I've got Mass Healing Ward and Mass Cure Wounds. Throwing that around gives everyone Hellrider's Pride. You do that at the start of combat, it just lasts for a few turns, which is quite nice. Vital Conduit Boots. Cast a spell, requires concentration, they gain 8 temporary hit points. Again, more gaining of temporary hit points, so that's quite tasty. We've got the Amulet of Misty Step. Misty Step is the best spell in the game. I always have, as soon as I see a vendor with a scroll of Misty Step, it gets brought. It's so good. It is so good. Strange Conduit Ring. While concentrating on a spell, the wearer's weapon attacks deal an additional 1d4 psychic damage because Spirit Guardians. And then the Ring of Salving, you restore an additional 2 points every time you heal another creature. Most of this is from Acts 1. I think Hellrider's Pride definitely comes from Act 1. Other is early Act 2, and I've not found better for her anyway. The bow is literally a stack stick to give +1 initiative rolls. I very rarely use the range facility on it. I have better range. I'll get to that in a moment. We picked up this from a vendor, the Shield of Devotion. It gives the wearer aid, which is a bit bad, but it does give you gain 1 level 1 spell slot, which is amazing. That's an extra heal. It gives +2 AC, and it gives you the Shield Bash, which is awesome because they hit Shadowheart because she's casting Spirit Guardians, especially when you do the Moonrise Towers. Oh, I just walked around dashing with Spirit Guardians on. It was amazing. I did the same for that in the Balthazar fight as well, and for the portal in Light's Hope Inn when you help out Haslin. So running Shadowheart dashing with Spirit Guardians is just so good. And then obviously they get knocked prone, which means any character you have in your party or NPC that comes after you in that fight gets advantage because the person is prone. And then because I talked Shadowheart out of killing Nightsong at the end of Act 2, we end up with the Selûne's Spirit of Night. Get advantage on wisdom and perception checks. It's a +3, gets Moonbeam and Moon Mote, which is all good. Obviously we've got a torch, and that's it. She's not carrying much. I don't have Shadowheart carrying much. She's got the Scroll of Misty Step there. She's got the Mysterious Artifact again. and she's carrying Ketherix and Netherstone. Other than that, it's a few heal potions, an antidote potion which I've never needed but I still carry one, or two in this case, and a basilisk oil which again I've never needed but I still carry one just in case. I also found an idol of Shah way back, and she shouldn't have that anymore because she's no longer Shah, so we will just send that to camp and reorganise. As for the spells, this is what I've currently got memorised. Some of them aren't on my bar. You see my bar's a little bit busy. I've given myself 3 rows and then I've organised it how I like. So Cure Wounds, Bless, Aid, Lesser Restoration, Beacon of Hope, Wraith of Revivify, Guardian of Faith, Death Ward. Oh no, these are the ones I've got on it. Sorry, Guiding Bolt, Healing Word, Create or Destroy Water. It's great if there's a pool of water on the floor that's causing difficult terrain. You just destroy it. Job done. Enhance ability for the RP moments. This has been so good for helping out, getting through some of the tougher RPs. And I think it's a bug, but I actually use enhance ability from Shadowheart to talk Shadowheart out of Killing Night Song. It was funny. I don't think you're supposed to do that. I think it's a bug, but Prayer of Healing, Spiritual Weapon, Daylight, Mass Heal Wounds, Spiritual Guardian, Speak with Dead, although I don't use it, Remove Curse, Freedom of Movement, Flame Strike I've just got because I'm level 10, and Insect Plague. Again, most of these spells aren't used. It is primarily Spirit Guardians, Spiritual Weapon, Aid, which I think is up here somewhere. And Divine Strike, because it's awesome. So that's all of that. Obviously I've got guidance as well that I'm spamming, and we've got Thaumaturgy and Resistance. I've used Resistance a few times. It really does help out, especially if you've got someone concentrating on spells. So that's Shadowheart. Let's move on. We have gone with the typical Hex Eldritch Blast build, which you can easily look up and find on the net. But yeah, that's pretty much it. He just casts Hex. Even if I'm out of spells, I just cast Shadow Eldritch Blast and it still does a ton of damage. Other than that, it's backed up by a few other ones, so let's go through those now. So here he is with his horns. We've got Agonizing Blast. I took Alert. Where's the other feat? Is that it? Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Alert and Agonizing Blast. This is all the other stuff. It's all there for you to look at. Repelling Blast as well. We've got that. I can't remember what I've taken, so it's all there. You can look at that. There's all his skills as they are right now. That's all his other bits. Where's his stats? On this page, isn't it? Yep. So I got +2 in the charisma, and then I think I took maybe a +2 from a feat, and then I think the +1's in Dex to give him Dex 16. So let's go through his gear. Oh, he holds all my alchemy stuff. I send all the alchemy to him so he can sit and sort it out just before a long rest, which is where I'm at right now. So he's still wearing the haste helm because it's really good for him to get into position so he can Hex and Eldritch Blast everything. It's quite nice. We've got the potent robe. Again, I've got no idea where it came from. So we've got Gregarious Caster. Cantrips deal additional damage equal to your charisma modifier. Eldritch Blast is a cantrip, I think. Yep, evocation cantrip, so that's doing more damage. Robe activates, granting them temporary hit points and +1 AC, and it isn't armor like its helm, which is why we're taking advantage of Armor of Shadows. So he's getting additional AC of 3. We've got Daredevil Gloves, where against +1 spell attack rolls, and got the Daredevil Proximity, which is amazing because people like hitting him in combat. So I just switch it on, Eldritch Blast them, switch back off next turn, Eldritch Blast them, keeps on knocking them back. We've also got the Evasive Shoes, because again it is an armour and it's given that +1 AC, and acrobatics is kind of nice. Pendants wise, he's got guidance just in case Shadowheart is out of range, and I haven't found another amulet that's any good for him really. We've got Arcana and Religion for RP pursuits. Again, trying to find rings that are decent are really hard. Most of them will give you a spell that are once per long rest, which is completely pointless. I don't want a spell per long rest, I want a spell per short rest. I very rarely long rest, which is probably why most of my companion plot arcs aren't as far along as possible. I don't see the point. I've got a really well rounded party. I don't take much damage because I kill everything, so I short rest occasionally just to get Will's points back. But yeah, I did have Haslin in my party, and primarily as a druid, and then wild shaping all the time, and I called it my short rest party. But then I wanted to explore Shadowheart's plot arc, and I've done that now, so I may ever end up with Haslin back in, but Shadowheart is just too good now, so not sure what's going to happen there. And his other ring is just again getting that speed so he can get in a better position, so he can the problem I'm finding with him is getting in a position where he can see his targets, that they're not being interrupted. So copious amounts of jump and a ton of movement speed, especially with the haste helm. It really does mean he can zip around the battlefield and get in position. Again, score a Misty Step, some potions, I get antidote. He doesn't have a Basilisk potion oil. I've only found 2 or 3. So he is carrying the Book of Thay. I have used it on him. He does have Speak with Dead. There it is. I just haven't got past the last page yet. And he's also carrying around the Astral Touch tadpole from the Emperor. I haven't used it. I've got no intention of using it. It's just sat there. As for his ranged weapon, it is just a light crossbow +1. It's a stat stick. I've been looking for something different he can use. So far, I've kind of neglected it really. It's just sat there in case. Very rarely used. It's more, like I said, it's more of a stat stick. I haven't found one that's going to be of any use to him yet because he can't use bows. There is a pair of gloves I've got that allow him to use bows, but the Daredevil gloves are just too good for him. So, yep. As for his other weapons, we do have a shield, Ketheric's shield, because it gets +1 bonus spell save and attack rolls. We've also got the same shield bash, and he's got advantage on dexterity saving throw checks as well. So that's really good. It's mainly there for the spell attack roll bonuses and shield bash, plus the +2 AC. And then because quarterstaffs are versatile, we have the incandescent staff for the fireball. Having a free fireball once every long rest is really good. Not that one. There it is. Having a free fireball once every long rest is really handy to have, because it does mass AoE, and then you can now just blast anything that's left. Absolutely awesome. So that's him done. Karlach is just a simple barbarian berserker. You currently have the soul coin effect. I suggest you carry as many soul coins as you can, and I have 6 still. Again, I don't long rest. I would say if you're coming up to any fight, just use them. You can. I've skipped out on 4 or 5. I should have at least another 3 or 4 of these things. I've seen them on vendors, and I just haven't bought them because I didn't realise how good they are. It's only, where is it? It's only a 1 to 4 fire damage when she's raging, or her hit points drop. But I just think it's fine. Funny running her around with her on fire. And I'm up to about 5 rage points I think now, so the likelihood is I'll just rage most battles, and then that gives you that damage there. Let's have a look how we're doing with her. Again, everything's level 10. We took +2 in strength, and then another +2 to get all the way up to 20, and she's got constitution +1, I think, or did we go dex? I can't remember. I don't know where I put the +2 and +1. She is totaled up with gear because she is my front line. She's currently running around with the gnome's room powder bomb to blow something up as a quest, another quest item, and she usually carries all my food because she's got bull strength, which I'll go into in a moment. Let's go scroll down and look at all the stuff she's got. So there we go. We've got Great Master, Great Weapon Master, and then +2, and then all of the other buffs there from various things. There's all her skills, and that's all our other information in case you wanted to know. So let's have a look at her gear. We've got the Circuit of Hunting, then a D4 attack rolls against creatures marked by. Normally my own character will be fairy firing everywhere, so that's what that's for, but it's the 1 to 4 damage against them as well. And again, I haven't found anything more useful than this. Karlach doesn't go down to half health anymore, she's just stonkingly hard. We picked this cloak up as well, so we've got Cloak of Protection. Again, I think that was a quest line reward, I'm not sure, but it gets a +1 armor class, so that's all good. This, if you ever find this, wherever I got it from, you want to get this. It gives you +2 strength, but more importantly, it gives you bull's strength as well. Inspect, there it is. Carrying capacity doubles, which is why she's got 960 weight, and because I am a absolute loot monkey, I loot everything that I possibly can. I need that carrying capacity, so yeah, especially going through Moonrise Towers with that plate armor dusted around. Oh, so good. I want to sell it all. So having that max carrying capacity was awesome. We've also got the gloves of dexterity, give her dexterity 18. We've got the disintegrating night walkers, because that way she can't be entangled, ensnared, can't slip on grease or ice, and then gives them misty step. I've looked at build guides online to try and get an idea, and I find it very, very annoying that when you're looking at how to put gear together for your companion, your party, so you've got 4 characters, yourself and 3 companions, whether they're Highlands or Origin characters, whatever. And yet you look at them and every single build guide is like, oh, all your characters best in slot disintegrating nightwalkers. It's like, yeah, but that's great, but you only get 1 pair. What about the other 3? No one has sat down and done a party balanced guide for gear. Now I've currently just started another playthrough, and I'm going to be doing that, and I'll do it on a Google spreadsheet for anyone that is interested on how to do that. But this is obviously going to be completely dependent on what characters you have in your party and what class you're playing, but I'm hoping that might be helpful. So anyway, that's got those. She's running around with this as well, but again, I don't use it. She just it's the second part of it, maximise the number of hit points restored, which is awesome. The other part of that, she doesn't get down. I've never had Karlach go down ever since I picked her up, so yeah. A bunch of saving throws against charmed, that is the one weakness of Karlach. Unless she's raging, she can be charmed, so having this ring is absolutely brilliant. And this comes from doing the Myconid colony quests down in the Underdark, and I really suggest you do that and talk to the Mind Flayer whose name I forget. But yeah, get hold of this, put it on your whoever's going to be doing all your tanking. It is so good, if they're not an elf, of course. And then Killer Sweetheart. It's a long rest thing. I don't like it, but I haven't found something better. I get all the guides say, oh, every single characters have this, but you know, once per long rest. No, it's just not good enough. I'd rather have a generic stat ring, but finding rings that are good, quite hard in this game. I'm hoping there's some sort of crafting in the game where you can craft your own rings. Just haven't found it yet, but we'll see what happens. Range wise, we've got this stack stick. When you deal damage to target with a range weapon, you must succeed for I'll be baned. If she's not quite out of place or you end up being ambushed, this is quite good. You can bane them for a couple of turns while you get in position. That's the only reason it's on there. And then she's running around with a halberd of vigilance, then +1 to initiative rolls, find some perception checks. Attack roll as a reaction, make an advantage, with the great weapon stuff as well. And honestly, I'm forever going to be giving my tank a halberd, because that extra reach is fantastic. So my advice is, as soon as you can start picking up halberds, pick them up. The damage might not be great compared to other weapons, but that extra reach is such a good quality of life, it's unbelievable. Or any weapon with extra reach, I would suggest having on your main tank melee damage character. So yeah, so that's Karnak in a nutshell. Standard Barbarian Berserker, I'm level 10. I'm going to be multi-classing into a fighter for level 11 and 12 to get that action surge. And with, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with Shadowheart yet. I don't like the two 6th level spells, or the 6th level spells you can get seem okay, but I am seriously thinking of either doing what one of the guides says I found, which is respecking her and then life domain clerics 9 and then sorcerer for 4 levels to get some more spells. But more, what I'm thinking of more likely doing is going into fighter for 2 levels, 11 and 12, to get an action surge, so she can cast her spells one turn and next turn she can do attack. But I'm not sure, I might just go all the way up to the life cleric and go from there. Finally, we get on to probably the most complicated build, which is my character. My character is following a build guide done by Wolfheart FPS. I cannot remember what the title of the video is. Let me just bring up the YouTube link, hopefully it won't flash on the main screen. Just pause it. There we go. Right, Wolfheart FPS, twin bolt sharpshooter maestro build, he's called it. I will link a copy of the video in the description below. I have changed it slightly because I don't agree with some of his choices on spells, but he does state in the video that spells are pretty much down to you because you don't really use them. So a lot of my spells are down to RP choices rather than actual any combat stuff. So the way this build works, effectively, it's a severe multi-class ability. We put 4 levels into Rogue to get the sharpshooter feat and to get all of the thiefy bonuses. And although Astarion is Astarion is my second favourite origin character, because I'm usually playing a goody-goody and I like helping people to get all of those inspiration points, because I don't care what anyone says, the best background for your character is folk hero if you're playing good. So every time you do something nice you get an inspiration point, and then you can frivolously spend them on whatever you need to. I'm always at 4 inspiration points for the amount of quests you do and people you help, so that's why I take folk hero. So it means I don't have to take a Astarion, I've got that ability, but I do have a thief / rogue in my party, so I can unlock all the goody goodies and disarm all the traps more than anything else. Disarming traps in this game is a must. So you put 4 levels into that, then you go 1 level into fighter to get the archery fighting style, and then you put 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11, so that's 6 levels into bard, to get a ton of actions and abilities and whatevers, and some spells as well. He goes through it all in detail in this video. Essentially you end up being almost like a machine gun by yourself and able to kill pretty much most mobs in the combat, and then you're using your other characters Like Karlach and Shadowheart I use as, well, like I said, Shadowheart hits up Spirit Guardians and goes on a little walk, and then Karlach just goes around hitting things with the halberd, and because of all her bonuses, this is why I've given her the Gloves of Dexterity, is for that initiative. She's usually going first, but because my character is second in initial order, I can switch between them. So generally I will position my archer and possibly take a couple of pot shots on weaker characters, and then move Karlach into the stronger characters and set her up there, and then Shadowheart will go in her turn and go to other creatures to get some damage on those, and then Will will be there as his little, hex blasting all the ranged things. Essentially it means I can pull off a lot more sneak attacks, because the creatures will be gravitating to all three of my characters. Trying to stay away from Karlach because she's walking death machine. Trying to shoot Shadowheart because of her concentration on Spirit Guardians, and going after Will because they see him as the weakest character. So all that goes on, which essentially means then my character can get off a lot of sneak attacks because they have a friendly person within 5 or 10 feet, so you get advantage and it does a ton of damage. The main goal of this one is all about the gear, so let's get into it more. So there we go, you see level 4 rogue, level 1 fighter, and then level 5 in levels into 6 as a bard. I took dex of 17, so that's +2. I took the hag's hair to get +1 to take it to 18, and then I took ability improvement to go up to 20. That's how it was done. I got +1 in constitution for 14. I sacrificed my intelligence because I don't care what anyone says. The lump horn seems to be good, but I don't need it. I've never used it in playthroughs where I had it because, in my opinion, don't need it. Okay, I'm only just into Act 3 now, so it could be useful later on. But having an intelligence of 17 and getting all the skills as well for that with +4 proficiency is so much better for RP purposes. Getting through those skill choices, not that one, that one. There you go, look, Arcana, History, all of these which are needed, or in my opinion needed for some purposes in RP, means it's so much easier. You're passing those passive tracks and getting more information, which means your quests are getting done quicker, and or more information from your quest makes quests easier. It's a lot better than having some ogres running around dealing damage when you could be dealing the damage. I will state this very clearly, in my very personal opinion, if you're having to rely on the lumps, Warhorn to get through to Act 3, you have a bad party set up. It's the reason I do not use Gale. Yes, he's a wizard, yes, he probably has a lot of damage, but then you are forced to take long rests, and that just means burning a whole ton of food. One of the reasons I've got so much gold is because I sell all my food because I don't need the long rests, and I get more gold to then buy some really good equipment. At one point in early Act 2, mid Act 2, somewhere around there, I had 15,000 gold. So yeah, and the only reason I don't have it was because this is also my collection playthrough, so I'm getting one of each spell, one of each armour, most of the magic / rare items, unless they're +1s, I don't ignore those, but anything else comes along I just buy them, stick them in my stash, and collect it. This will be the only playthrough I'm doing that on. I won't be doing it anymore. So yeah, so the idea with this, if you watch the video link below, is we're using hand crossbows. We get 3 range shots a turn without using anything special, and the first one I generally shoot, and I shoot arrow of many targets because, oh god days, so good. Maybe a roaring thunder depending, or maybe an arrow of fire. They're the only arrows I use, but it's usually arrow of many targets. It's just so good. And you get a couple of offhand attacks as well to take out any little bits, things. You're critting quite a lot. We've got sharpshooter as well, so we're doing a ton of damage. With a dex of 20, we're automatically offsetting the -5 to hit as well. So there it all is. Oh, and all of my tadpoles I've gone onto my character, so my character's brain is well stacked. However, I won't be doing this again. Half of these are just completely pointless. In fact, most of these are completely pointless. Where's the ones that I use? Favourable beginnings and Luck of the Far Realms. I would take those two, and that is it. On any character that doesn't mind taking tadpoles, I would take Favourable Beginnings, just to get Luck of the Far Realms. Because other than that, the rest of these I've never used. They all seem to be a bit Psionic Backlash is quite good, but that means you need to take Concentrated Blast, so possibly 4 per character who's interested in taking them, maybe, or have Psionic Backlash on your tank, and maybe. But the rest of them here are completely. The only reason I did it was because I was trying to unlock these, and I found out you can only unlock all of these ones if you become a half illithid by using the special tadpole the Emperor gives you, and I'm not interested in that. So, completely wasted. I don't like it. I won't be using them again other than to get Beginnings and Luck of the Far Realms on some characters. Because I'm a bard, I've got my loot. Let's go through the rest of the gear. So yeah, I got the Warped Pound of Intellect from the ogres way back in the Blighted Village. You kill them for their loot. It can be quite hard. I'd suggest waiting until level 4, and that's quite easy to do if you do all of the side quests, and do a lot of other things. All the side quests, go into all the areas, kill everything you come across, pretty much. Apart from the goblins, you don't kill them until you get into the goblin village, and do all of that, because there's a lot of you in the goblin village. What you want to try and do is get into goblin village peacefully, so you can access the goblin trader and the Zentium trader, and then you loot everything in there that you can without getting told off, and you sell it all, buy the gloves of archery from the goblin trader, and then once all that's done, you can then start going around killing all of the goblins, starting with Nithara, then Gut, and then after that you loot everything you possibly can, because by that point you lose the as soon as you kill Gut, you lose the Zentium trader, so you're having to rely on the goblin trader, which eventually will run out of money. Once you've done all that lot and you've looted everything in the goblin village, you can then kill Razglin, which will make all of the goblins in the goblin village angry towards you, but not the goblin camp. So, not in the Blighted Village, sorry, in the Goblin Camp. Something like that, I don't know. Anyway. I'm rambling, my bad. Next, we've got the Cloak of Cunning Brune. When the rare disengages, they also create a foggy cloud. Last one turns. Basically, the foggy cloud makes everyone blind, including your own party members, so just be aware of that. We've got the Yanti Scale Armour, because it gives us a ton of armour class. Still allows us to use our max dex bonus, which is 20, so we get +5 on our AC, and we get +1 on our initial rolls. It is probably the best armour in the game for a ranger/range class. We've got the Gloves of Archery still, because of the +2 damage. We've taken the Speedy Lightfoot. When the wearer dashes or takes a similar action with 3 lightning charges. I don't usually dash, but it's usually I might use dash just to get out of a better position if someone's moved to get the shots off. And then of course having the lightning charge is quite nice. It is the best pair of feet I've found for the class so far. We've got Broodmother's Revenge, so when you do get healed you get the 1d6 poison damage. It may be better to save your aid and just before a battle's coming up, so they can get that. We've got the ring of free action, which is quite nice. Again, I can't remember where I got it. And then we've got caustic band, which I think you pick up in Act 1 for that 2 acid damage for your ranged stuff. The Defender Flail I think is from a vendor. If you see this flower, I highly suggest having it for this particular build. It gives you a +1 armor class and it reduces all incoming bludgeoning, piercing and slashing damage by 1, which is great, but it's also one-handed weapon, so you can equip a shield. And again you get that, I'll pick this up, I think it might have been from a vendor, or it might have been something I looted in Moonrise Towers, I'm not sure. But you start off with a +2 armor class, you then get the +3 initiative rolls and advancing perception checks. And this character being your disarm / trap remover is awesome, so you get the advantage on that, plus you get shield bash, which is great. So if someone does get close enough to do a melee attack on you and you do not get prone, you can then, because they're prone, dash away, getting the lightning charges, turn around and shoot them until you die. We picked up the Hellfire hand crossbow from the Star Trials, so we've got that, and then we've got a hand crossbow. Hand crossbow seems to be very underrated in this game. I've not seen anything other than 3+1s, including the 2 I was wielding before I picked up this, the Hellfire hand crossbow, and then just normal hand crossbows. I've not seen any the rare ones. Rares, yeah, so. And that's it, that's all the builds, that's all the gear. Quest wise, that is my current quest log. I'm not going to go through them all. If you know, you know. If you don't, wait until you do it. That's all the ones I've completed. Absolute ton of questing I've done. So yeah, that's where I am in my main save. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please let me know. It does take a lot out of me to do these, and because I'm medically retired on state funds, I cannot make any IRL money from these videos, so there's not a lot of incentive for me to do them, which is another reason why my videos have dropped off the last couple of weeks. On that note, I hope to see you around. Comments, likes, subscribes. I still am active in the Path of Exile TFT Heist channel for those who enjoy that game. If you talk to me, you can find me there. My Discord is open to messages, or alternatively comment on this video. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.